Baseball. We miss him here in the Valley. He still lives here in the Valley. Rod Allen joins us here on Rock Manooch with Jimmy B. Rod, it's Rock Manooch, Jimmy B. How you doing, buddy? What's going on?
I'm doing wonderful, fellas. How about you guys today?
Well, I'm enjoying my pick this year was Texas-San Diego, and I see Texas up 4-0 in the first inning after winning yesterday. So I'm feeling pretty good right now. I'd love to see Texas-Arizona. What do you think about that kind of matchup?
Well, I mean, I kind of like Arizona. There's no question about that. But, I mean, if they're going to get through the Philadelphia Phillies, they got to play their best baseball. I mean, Gallen's got to go out there today, and he's got to dominate with his fastball. He's got one of the best four-seam fastballs in baseball. He's going to need that pitch today. I mean, he's got a lot of really good right-handed batters, and he's going up against left-handers and Harper. So if he uses his fastball today to his advantage, I got Gallen kind of doing some special things. And, of course, your team, from a base running standpoint, you run the bases as well as any team in baseball. You steal a lot of bases. You're not going to outslug the Phillies, but you can definitely beat the Phillies if you play your kind of brand of baseball.
As a Miami Marlins broadcaster for the last couple of years, when you've seen this Phillies team quite a bit, you saw them in the playoffs. Where is the weak links, if there are any, with this Philly club?
I don't know if they really have a weak link. Maybe their third or fourth starter. I mean, if you can get that far, but I mean, you got to go through Wheeler tonight.
Yeah,
he's one of the best pitchers in baseball with a great fastball. But you guys got a lot of guys that have really good fastball numbers, and you have some good guys on the team that have great numbers against Wheeler. So you shouldn't be afraid of him. He's outstanding. Nola's outstanding. But if you guys can play the bunt and run game, if you can hit and run, if you can move some runners over, get guys on third base, get those guys in, and your pitching steps up the first couple of days with Kelly and also Gallen, you can snatch a game or two, and that's exactly what you have to do to get back to the Valley. But I like your team. There's no doubt about it. I mean, the Phillies obviously are the team that everybody's picking to win the World Series now that the Atlanta Braves are no longer in this thing. But your team is a tremendous team, and there's been all kinds of wild card teams that have gotten to the postseason and also to the World Series the last number of years.
Right, interesting. You look at the Phillies last year making the wild card, and they fired Girardi. Rob Thompson comes in. They go to the World Series, and obviously, as Rock alluded to, the Astros beat them. Then they start off slow again. Then they catch fire the second half of the season. So what's the constant with this Phillies team to see what they do the second half of the season that carries them over independent races and the World Series?
You know, I think that this team, after they fired Girardi, I mean, the players kind of relaxed last year. The Atlanta Braves are one of the best teams I've ever seen in baseball. This 2023 version of the Atlanta Braves. They didn't finish it off, but it's one of the best teams I've ever seen. I mean, I was comparing this team to the 75, 76 Big Red Machine. I mean, Rock probably too young to understand that, but at least I know you understand exactly what's going on with that 75, 76 team. That team was a beast. And I saw this Braves team a bunch. And that team reminded me a lot of Joe Morgan and Rose and Griffey and you know, I mean, just the Perez, the list goes on and on, bench, you name it. But anyway, I mean, just that Phillies team is good. I mean, you got Turner at the top, you got Schwarber at the top, you got Harper, who's a beast, you got Castellanos, who's an all-star, you got Real Muto, who's one of the best throwing catchers in all of baseball. So if you guys are going to run, you guys got to be on your P's and Q's. And I can really throw. I just really love the matchup. I do. I just think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Hey, Ron, I'm real curious because you just referenced their lineup. Who would have thought when Kyle Schwarber was with the Chicago Cubs that he would turn into a leadoff hitter with the Philadelphia Phillies? Can you take me through that process? How the hell did that happen?
That's analytics, baby. I mean, he can get you one run in a hurry in that very first inning, and he's done that a whole bunch this year. He's going to strike out, he's going to walk, and he's going to hit a lot of home runs, and that's just new analytic baseball. I mean, they have a lot of guys in the number one and number two spots that normally would not be there, but they're looking to get these guys up as much as they can because they know more often than not these guys are going to connect because they are airborne with the baseball a lot, and they're going to hit the ball out of the ballpark. But that's kind of new generation baseball with Schwarber at the top of the lineup. Trey Turner would be a much better leadoff hitter.
Yeah, it's interesting. And you know, when you watch Corbin Carroll, Rod, you've been around baseball for many, many years. You know, you hear about this young man coming through, the top prospect. I mean, none of us, you know, we knew a little bit about him, expected to see him do this his rookie year. So is he mature beyond his years? Does he understand the game? Is he just solid mechanics? When you watch him play, what is it about him that impresses you at an early age?
He's got that sixth tool. I mean, we can obviously look at the stuff on the field. I mean, the run tool, the hit tool, the power tool, the defensive tool. I mean, all those things that he brings to the table on a nightly basis. But, I mean, when you stand 5, 6, 7 inches, 5, 6, 8 inches, and you're able to do the kind of things that Corbin Carroll could do on the base field, and you got a little something else going on. This guy's special. I've seen him a bunch, and he's not in awe of the situation that he's put up against. He showed out in the earlier rounds of the playoffs. He showed out all year long. He's going to be Rookie of the Year. He's going to be in the MVP comment. He had 25 homers and 50 steals. I mean, that stuff has not been done very often. I think only 2 players have ever done that before. So, I mean, he is awfully special. There's no doubt about that. But they will pay special attention to Corbin Carroll today. So some of the other guys are going to have to step up and do some special things. So that's just the way the playoffs go.
And when you see Gabby Moreno, another rookie, speaking of rookies, and hopefully we can keep him healthy, but when you watch him, does he remind you of a young Yadier Molina and the way he handles the bat and the catchers and what have you? Or am I getting ahead of myself? I'm a Cardinals fan, Rod, for many, many years. I loved Yadier. But do you see the similarities with the two?
I'm going to go a step further. I'm going to give you Yadier on the defensive end. I'm going to give you Real Muto on the offensive end.
Okay.
Because his bat is much more special than Yadier's bat will ever be.
Right.
But from a defensive standpoint, he can catch, he can throw. He's still really, really young. That's a wonderful trade that the general manager, Mike Hazen, made with the Toronto Blue Jays. We haven't talked about him yet even. But anyway, that's a wonderful trade. But I give him the combination of a little Real Muto and a Yadier. I just wouldn't box him into one.
Rod, take me to this because you referenced something about stealing bases. Is it now back in vogue with what we have seen? I mean, look, we're not going to see the second coming of Ricky Henderson anytime soon, but is it now back in vogue? And in the playoffs, will both of these teams, beginning tonight, use their speed on the bases?
Well, you don't have to worry about anybody other than really Trey Turner on their team.
Okay.
But they have to worry. Rock, I believe that the stolen base is going to be back in play. And the one thing that helps the Diamondbacks is they've been doing it all year. I mean, Perdomo, I think he leads the world in sacrifice bunts. They get bunts down. They get runners over. And unfortunately for a lot of these other teams that are in the postseason, they don't play that kind of game during the regular season. But for whatever reason, when they get in the postseason, they try to do those kinds of things, and they're not very successful doing so. So I see the Diamondbacks having a real nice run in this series. I really do. And I think it's from a speed standpoint. But if they try to outslug the Philadelphia Phillies, they will not win the series.
And
if they play the kind of baseball they played all year, they got a shot.
Okay, and then doing a broadcast there and just the Philly crowd, okay? Just doing the broadcast there, seeing this fanaticism, to pardon the pun, for their mascot, so to speak. Talk about that Philly crowd, how much these guys get jacked up. And when you're doing broadcasts, does it impress you, or you even pay attention to when you're there in Philly?
It's fun. I mean, it's like, when we experienced back in 2001, when we had our World Series run here when I was a broadcaster here. And it's also the same kind of atmosphere that you guys experienced just a few days ago when you guys both raced the Dodgers. Home court advantage is special. And there's none better than Philadelphia. I mean, they won 26 games at home, and they only lost 11. And when that crowd gets going, man, it is loud in there. But Gallen today can shut that crowd up with his fastball. And somehow, some way, the Diamondbacks can get a lead. They can take the crowd out of the game. They've got to shut that crowd up. But if that crowd gets rolling, it's going to be loud in there.
All right, then that's my follow-up question. Zach Gallen has struggled in the early innings. He's given up runs in the first or second inning. Is the key for him to be successful, obviously not having Philadelphia jump on him early?
Well, I'm sure that they understand exactly what Gallen's numbers are earlier in the season. He's got one of the best pitching coaches in our sport. And I'm sure Gallen understands that, but he understands too that Philadelphia, regardless of what his numbers say, that is a tall challenge against any pitcher in every single inning. They are 1 through 7 as deep as any team other than the Atlanta Braves. So Gallen just needs to come out, and as I said, the fastball command is key for him. He also has a really, really knee-bucking breaking ball. But if he can command his fastball early and throw lots of his fastballs and work all 4 quadrants of the strike zone and work some of these weaknesses of this Philadelphia Phillies team, he can get himself a W tonight, in my opinion.
Rod, how many games does this series go? I'm not going to put you on who's going to win, but how many games do you think it goes?
6.
6? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll go with 6. It should be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. 4-0 right now. Texas up on Houston going into the bottom of the second. Rod, thanks so much. We look forward to catching up with you during this postseason. Appreciate your time.
2 minutes.
All right, absolutely, fellas. I'll give you some knowledge.
Yes, you did.
Thank you.
Always,
You did, always.
always. That's
Yeah.
a great Rod Allen joining us here on Rock Manooch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910. Hey, we are doing a Rock Manooch with Jimmy B listener appreciation putting tournament. And we're doing it at Putting World in Scottsdale. It's a 36-hole putting tournament during happy hour next Wednesday. And the cost is just $9.10. Yes, $9.10. We'll have prizes. We'll have hole ones. We'll have all kinds of fun stuff. It's during happy hour. Get your twosome, foursome. If you're a single, that's fine too. But you got to sign up in advance because it will sell out. RockandManooch.com. RockandManooch.com. It's right there. Click the PayPal. You're in. Once you have your in, I'll have your information and we'll get your name for the sign-ups as we get closer. But again, next Wednesday between 5 and 7, 36 holes. Be a great opportunity to check out this brand new place that opened up, Putting World in Scottsdale, indoors. And again, $9.10. Good stuff.
I can't wait.
I can't wait to see you putt.
You bring your
1
own
minute.
putter, Jimmy?
Maybe. I might.
Because they have supply with them.
Well, I know that.
I gave my clubs away like 6 years ago. So, Rock, you got
Wait,
extra
bring
putter?
Oh, I do.
You get extra putter?
I can putt.
Yeah.
I can do that.
It depends on which one's not working for me. You can have one.
Well, you're the one who gave me the putting lesson like 10 years ago. And so I'll be looking forward to that. But I can't wait. A little indoor facility and
Yeah.
And the place is
36
awesome.
holes, man.
Yeah, and we made it so affordable. We got to pay them something for turning the lights on, right?
Sure,
Well,
yeah,
so-
exactly.
Yeah.
And they normally charge like $29
Sure,
or
yeah.
$39 depending on the day to get out there. But the good thing is 36 holes, and maybe you go off at 5:30, maybe you go off at 6, but
Sure.
everything will be done by 7, and then we'll know because it takes not long.
I'm
half
just-
hour,
yeah, to
18
finish,
holes,
yeah.
I'm just
so-
curious. I've been out putting or playing in many, many years. You got to get that. Is the stemp meter at about 12 out there, you think, right now?
Maybe
Might
we'll
be
have to find
slick.
out. Between 11 and 12, I think.
There's no clown mouth, so don't worry.
Yeah, there is a
No windmill?
No,
No
19,
windmill.
no.
No.
We are finishing up here. I should say we're finishing up, but we are out here at the CAZ Sports Book getting ready for tonight's Monday night game between the Cowboys and Chargers. But we'll have all the games on. We'll have Coyotes. We'll have the Suns. But the big one is, of course, the Diamondbacks and Phillies. So win some money just by watching sports here tonight. Well, week 7 of the college football season, it features a little bit of everything. We saw some pretty cool finishes, some great plays, an outstanding top 10 showdown in the Pac-12. But how about those Wildcats? A 38